by Moto Fit Club, your go-to resource for moto coaching, fitness, and community for all women riders. Whether you're brand new to riding, a weekend warrior, or professional racer, Moto Fit Club was created by women for women to support your journey on a dirt bike. Please welcome your host, Bree Marcotte.
What's up, guys? It's Bree with Moto Fit Club. Welcome to the Moto Made podcast. We have our two founding fathers here with me joining us on this episode. We've got Jackie Ives and Brittany Marcotte, both co-founders of Moto Fit Club. So on this episode, we're going to recap the High Point National, which is round 3 of the WMX. We're going to kind of look over the overall standings going into the the 7-week break that we have before round 5 of the WMX, which will take place in Unadilla August 14th, 15th, followed by Budds Creek and Ironman, which will be the WMX championship round. So we'll kind of go over some of those things and kind of break down everybody's standings and what everyone's going to be doing over this upcoming extensive break that all the women will be kind of going into. And then we'll get some stats and some insight from the Moto Fit Club founding fathers here that have joined me. So we've got Jackie. What's up, Jackie?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm here, ready to talk about some WMX.
Brittany, Big Brittany, what's going on?
Let's get into it. Awesome.
All right, so we obviously saw quite the drama this weekend at High Point. No shocker there. All the rounds have been super crazy. So like Brittany said, we'll get into it. Obviously, the big surprise of the weekend was not only Mayla Herrick coming in for her very first WMX round debut. She turned 17 on the day of the first Pro Moto on Friday, but Charlie Cannon taking the overall win, going 5-1 to make her first career WMX overall victory in the US. So that's super cool, really badass for her to do that, since we've been kind of waiting for her to do it. She's put in some super good battles with Lala, but for her to actually turn it around and put in the work and minimize mistakes and get the overall is super badass. So excited for Charlie Cannon on that. Obviously Lachlan Turner, pretty consistent. She did go 3-2 for a second overall. It's the first time that she has lost in overall. I think this would be, the last that I saw was 7 overalls in a row, obviously bleeding in from 2025 into this year. So first time she's had to take a L, if you want to call it that, for going 7 rounds in. And then again, obviously Lottie Van Drunnen, it's her best overall finish that she's had between the 2 weeks she's been here in the States, going 2-4 for third overall. Kind of finally seeing what the international superstar from Dutch is kind of putting in, which is cool. So she got third overall. And then, of course, we have Michaela Nielsen, who went 4-3 for fourth overall. Jordan Jarvis, fifth overall. Taylor McCutcheon, also from Australia, going 7-6 for sixth overall, and so on, so on. So High Point was super dramatic. Jackie, what was your thoughts on Charlie coming in? Were you expecting her to be on the box again? Did you expect her to win? What were the thoughts on Charlie?
I mean, I think she's always expected to be on the box. She's been in the top 3 the last 2 years. Obviously, we've seen some mistakes from Lala. And later in the motos, early in the motos, she's kind of had some tip overs. Cannon's always there to strike on that, but she's definitely a top competitor. So I'm happy to see her get a win. We don't want to see the same person win every week, so it's awesome to see a mix-up here, and we're rooting for all the girls. So yeah, I think it was good, it was exciting, and we like it.
Brittany, what was your thoughts on, obviously, Mayla Herrick? There was a lot of hype of her coming in, turning 17, literally on Friday, the day of the very first Moto for round 3. Did you expect her to come out and win the very first Moto, and what did it mean for the huge switch up from going from winning the first Moto to what ended up happening Moto 2?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's surprised that Mayla won a Moto. I think maybe we weren't expecting it to be her debut round. It's unfortunate what happened in Moto 2. I think that Mayla definitely capitalized on getting that whole shot, whereas Lachlan didn't have that great off the start, that great of a jump off the start, and was sort of like bunched in the back a little bit. So I think everyone was looking forward to Moto 2, maybe seeing a battle between those two, because I will note that towards the end of the Moto, of Moto 1, Lachlan really had to kind of make her way through the pack. I think she was maybe like 5th at one point or 4th and past Moto KK. Lala actually got 3rd the first Moto because she caught up to Lottie. Lottie was catching also Mayla. So yeah, they were both catching Mayla at the end, and granted it's a really short Moto, so it would have been exciting if we had a little longer to see the 3 of them battle. But regardless, I think Moto 2 with Lala potentially getting a better start to really mix up with her and see what her potential would be, to battle Lala. I think that's what everybody wants to see.
Are we shocked at all, Jackie, on like last 3 rounds? We've seen like quite a bit of, I don't know, I don't want to say necessarily bike problems because not all the women are dealing with bike problems, but the top 5 girls have all seen some weird, uncharacteristic bike issues, from Michaela's bike kind of going under to Jordan Jarvis having issues, even Lottie when she got in the mix-up on that second moto crash, but then having to figure out how to fix the holeshot device. Like, is this something that we should be expecting the last 3 rounds, or do you think this is kind of like a weird working the kinks out first 3 rounds?
Yeah, I mean, for the girls, this being like kind of the second year where it's like a big deal on the platform. We're on the day of the men and it's on the TV. I think the girls are definitely getting some more support. I think some of the girls are straight out of vans, and you have bike problems. Obviously, Michaela is under a factory rig, but it's still like the girls are just new on this platform, so I think some kinks are being worked out where you got to put the girls first. Like I said, some of the girls, I know Lottie was straight out of the van with us in the I guess privateer parking. So when that happens, when you don't have a whole team of people, sometimes things go wrong when there's not a whole team looking after your bike. There's definitely some ups and downs with like how much support girls have, how little support girls have. So all that will be worked out in the future. Like I said, it's a new platform for the girls. So yeah, it makes it exciting, and it makes it controversy on the line. But I think it'll all be worked out in the years,
I'm sure.
in the future.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jordan really appreciated the spike in the heart rate, trying to get her bike bump started on the first round. But yeah, hopefully it's just like a phase that everyone's trying to work out the kinks, like you said. But we'll go into, like we said, 7 weeks off. That's a long time, but obviously none of the women that we know and that we've spoken to are going on vacation by any means. It sounds like a lot of the girls, which Brittany will kind of cover here in a second, are going overseas to keep getting some more race time in, which is super cool. But going into the 7-week break, the point standings right now for top 15, we've got obviously Lachlan Turner coming in at a 132 in the points, so she's leading by almost 10 points, which is pretty impressive after only having 3 rounds. Charlie Cannon, 123 in second overall. Jordan Jarvis, third overall with 102 points. Michaela Nielsen with 101 points. And then fifth, Taylor McCutcheon, 99 points. So honestly, it looks like fifth, fourth, and third are all within a point of each other. So that'll be a really good, final 3 rounds to see between Jordan, Michaela, and Taylor how that's going to shake out, because I think all of them are capable of getting a top 3 or better. It just kind of depends on how they kind of battle it out in round 5 at Unadilla. After that, obviously our girl Emma Miselvik, she's doing great at 83 points, 6th overall. Piper Bell with 77, sitting in 7th overall. Lottie, who I don't believe will be finishing up this year's WMX series in the U.S., but she is going into this break with 74 points at 8th overall. So that's another thing to consider, because she's actually tied in points with Lillian Pettis, our fast friend that we made, who's sitting in 9th right now. So Lily Ann can definitely take over that 8th spot. But I'd like to see, obviously, if Lily can kind of chip her away at Piper Bell, who's got 77 points. So Lily Ann's not far behind. She's 3 points trailing Piper Bell for that 7th and 6th spot. After that, another off-road racer, Ava Silvestri, who's at 59 points, sitting in 10th overall. Haley Johnson, 43 points and 11th overall. Kylie Alvarez with 40 points and 12th overall. Taylor Harold, who obviously missed Hangtown, again, due to age. So she only has 2 rounds under her belt. So being a whole round down, she's still doing really good at 13th overall in the point standings. Carrie Kilbrew sitting 14th overall. And then, of course, our very own Big Brit, who kind of the opposite of Taylor, and same with Jackie, too, only did 2 rounds, and that'll unfortunately just be the series cap. But Brittany is sitting at 15th overall in the point standings with 32 points. So pretty badass for completing 2 rounds, representing Moto Fit Club. We'll see how long that lasts, because we've seen a lot of commitment from, I would probably say 80% of the girls that we raced in Hangtown did the first 3 rounds, which is really impressive. So, Brittany, do you think are we going to see that in the final 3? Do we feel like 80 to 90% of the girls we raced in Hangtown will go through the whole series?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a pretty stacked field. And if they've done the first 3 rounds already, I think they'll continue on and do the last 3 as well, especially now that the series has made itself to the East Coast. There's quite a big break in between. So, depending on where everyone lives, I'm sure they're going to go home, train, or figure out how to possibly stay on the East Coast. It is convenient that it's going to stay on the East Coast, for the rest of the ladies that are going to continue on, especially for the privateer ladies that are, probably out of a van or trying to fly back and forth. So I think, it's really cool to see that we have so many women committed to doing all the rounds. I think it'll be exciting to see how some of the, I'd say from 7th to 15th will play out. I think all those girls are they're pretty close in lap times as from what I've seen the last 3 rounds. So I think that'll be exciting. There might be some change-ups there to pay attention to. I think looking at the top 6 and 7, give or take, I think they're all going to be, obviously improving the next 3 rounds. But, which I will say, somebody like Jordan Jarvis, which, I'm sure we'll get to later, she has yet to get on the podium. So I think we're hopefully, going to see that from her in the future, because right now with her sitting 3rd in the series points, she could kind of take advantage of Michaela Nielsen's, I don't want to say that she had a bad moto in any means, but I think she had some kind of unfortunate events, obviously with the bike issue and not finishing a moto, especially in Denver, and, almost not even lining up for Moto 2 at Hangtown. So I think with her just completing 2 motos at High Point on maybe a track that it wasn't really her strong suit there, I think hopefully she'll come back and have a better fight for the upcoming rounds. But we do have a strong field, and I think that's what is so exciting about the WMX is that we have so many ladies that are committed to doing the whole series. So we have exciting points change-ups for the whole series, like not just some people showing up for 1 round or 2 rounds, and then some people showing up just for East Coast. So I think we'll see a lot of changes in points. Hopefully in the next couple rounds with the top 15.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially when you look at the point standings, kind of like what we talked about. You have Jordan Jarvis, Michaela, and Taylor McCutcheon all within 1 point of each other. So, and then you have 7th, 8th, 9th, all within the 74 to 77 point range. So like you said, we're looking at basically 3rd place overall to about 9th place overall. Have of just a couple points here and there between everybody. So it'll be exciting to watch in round 5 at Unadilla to see who kind of capitalizes like that, like what you said. So you kind of mentioned it, Brittany. I'll toss it back to you on what some of the girls are doing to take advantage of the 7 weeks off going over to the Australian series. I know there's a handful of girls that just raced that are literally on their way right now to participate in that series. There's no breaks here, no breaks for WMX.
Yeah, exactly. No breaks for the WMX, at least for our top, I'd say our top 6 ladies that are in the WMX committed as far as, Lachlan, Charlie, Taylor McCutcheon, and Emma. They are confirmed racing the Australian Women's Motocross Championship, the MXW class, which is this coming weekend, which is their round 2 for the series. So it kind of works out. It plays in all of their favor to go over to Australia and compete in that round. I think that the Australian Championship is just as competitive as the U.S. Championship as well as the Canadian Championship. So I did not see or hear anything about Jordan Jarvis going to Australia this coming weekend. I'm not sure if she has maybe a conflicting Canadian round. But I think with all those girls going over to Australia, it's a whole nother race to have under their belt. So after the Australian race weekend for round 2 for them, I would be curious to see, them coming back, obviously having time to train, work out the kinks of the bikes like Jackie brought up too, and see, what they can bring to the table for the last 3 rounds. I think with some of the ladies, again, which I'm sure we'll bring up in a second, is, our injury report with some ladies that actually can return, like Mayla. Having that 7 weeks is honestly a blessing because she did 1 round, unfortunately suffered a pretty bad concussion. That 7 weeks gives her pretty good amount of time to also compete at Loretta's and then continue on with the last 3 rounds, which is what we need and what we want to see for the women in this series since it's so tight. But this weekend in Australia, I think it would be something to look out for since we have some heavy hitters going over there. And I believe Lachlan, pretty sure, don't quote me on this, I think she won the last round, or I should say the first round So it'll be fun. I think with Charlie winning too, we'll see if she takes some of that confidence and hopefully takes advantage, I should say, of winning this last round, takes that momentum to Australia.
Yeah, and you mentioned a good point too, which I'll toss to Jackie, who you've overcome like a range of crazy broken bones, injuries, all that kind of stuff over your tenured career. So when you see somebody like Mayla go down on her very first moto, luckily, I mean, I don't want to say luckily because it's still bad, obviously, having a confirmed concussion, luckily no broken bones, but then you also see Destiny Slingerland, who's out with a broken femur. You see these, they're starting to kind of pile up a little bit. I mean, what's your advice to those girls, or what would you do taking advantage of, like Brittany said, the 7 weeks coming up before going into round 5?
I mean, none of these girls got here by, no injury. I'm sure, racing from a young age to now, they've been through plenty of the injuries and coming back. So, yeah, I think the stakes are a little higher when you get into that pro level and the TV cameras are on you. It's a little more stress, a little more pressure when all those fans are lining the fences and watching you. It can make you your heart rate a little bit higher. So yeah, it's like all that creates a little more stress when you're on the line, which can create problems like that when you go in the first turn. But I think they'll all come back just fine. I mean, like I said, none of them got to this point without going through a little adversity in their career. So I think that they're going to rebound, especially with the WMX being as heightened as it is. They're going to want to come back, want to recover from those injuries and give it their best go. And yeah, Mayla, that was a tough go. She obviously put it together in that first moto. We were all stoked for her and want to push for her, and we want to see her do it again. So I'm honestly happy that there's a little bit of a break to give her time to recover, to come back, and we want to see her, give Lala a run for her money. That would be awesome. We want adversity in the championship. So yeah, I think that they'll all be good, they'll all recover, and they'll all come back strong.
I actually want to add to that really quick, and this could be held for a whole nother podcast I'm sure we can go on and on about. But I will say, I think a big difference that I think all of us would agree we've noticed too is that because we have such a stacked field, I'd say so many girls committed to the series, that these ladies have trainers and fitness coaches, and they have the best team helping support them, I think, because this is their job. So with that being said, and like what Jackie said, I think that, their top priority is to get back to being race ready. And so, again, with the 7 week break, I think she honestly, I don't want to say she got lucky, but the coincidence of that happening, unfortunately, but with the 7 week break, I think that's going to be their priority, is getting her strong enough and healthy enough to get back to the rounds, because everyone wants to see her fight for the front again. So
that's a good point too. Kind of like shifting gears a little bit. I mean, we talked a little bit about obviously Charlie, Mayla's crash, overcoming some of those injuries, taking advantage of the 7 week break. Full circle back to Lala, who's obviously been successful. I mean, I think she's gone undefeated now for a long time outside of this last, weekend. Finally getting defeated, which again, it's good and bad. It's like we want to see somebody be super successful like Lala is, because she puts the work in. There's no lack of effort. She's a champion for a reason. She's winning these overalls for a reason. But what's more likely, and I'll ask Jackie first, are we going to see less crashes the last 3 rounds? Is she going to try and clean up those mistakes, or is she going to be improving on her starts? So like, what's more likely to happen, like less crashing or better starts?
Man, it's hard to say. It's like, I feel like maybe last year she definitely had that little window of being able to make some mistakes and still get the win. Especially what we saw in the first couple rounds. She definitely made some mistakes and she still was able to push forward and get the win. So I think, with some extra pressure added of these girls that are coming up, Charlie Cannon getting her first overall win, Mayla Herrick coming in and winning that round. We know that Lala was under the weather a little bit. She wasn't feeling well. That's an added thing to the whole situation. But, all those things add up in your mind when you're on the line, and it's like you start questioning yourself. And when there's added pressure, you're more likely to double think yourself on everything that you do. So I think I think that if Lala can put it together and know that she can win, obviously she will have this added pressure, but we're going to see if she can overcome the pressure and put it all together and defeat these girls like we know that she can. She's definitely got the speed, she's got the skill, she's got the talent, she's got it all. She can. But these girls coming up and maybe getting in her mind a little bit, that's what we want to see because the girls also have that talent and they want to win. So I think that it's going to be fun to watch.
So she has the speed, she has the talent, and she has the pearls, which I think we can all agree. If you want to get a top 3 at the WMX, you have to have pearls because we also saw Lottie sporting a nice pearl necklace as well. So I think you have to have speed, you got to have a good bike, and you have to have pearls. Brittany,
I should have worn some. I feel like I would have gone a little faster. Damn it.
That was my question. Is if you can go back to the first 2 rounds, would you do pearl earrings or the pearl necklace? Because it's kind of a toss-up.
Both. Whatever they're doing, I got to do.
Okay.
Or whatever they're wearing, I got to wear.
Well, Brittany lost her sterling silver locket necklace. It flew off during Hangtown somehow. I don't know if she bar swapped and it flew off, but it wasn't pearls. It didn't help her.
It didn't. Yeah. Well, it was okay. I actually did good at Hangtown, but in Denver, I had a great moto, and then I think I lost whatever mojo I got with my necklace. I lost all my pearls, Moto 2, in that first turn crash. So, but speaking of crashes, yes, I do. It's hard to say. I could see Lala turning it around in these 7 weeks. Also racing in Australia. Maybe she'll put it all together again. I do like seeing that the racing gets tight if mistakes are made. Obviously, I think everyone agrees. Yes, it's just like Jet Lawrence. If we see Jet Lawrence get a bad start, it's kind of like, okay, this is going to be a good race. So I feel like, obviously, I don't want anybody to crash, and make mistakes. But I will say, Charlie, like Jackie says, is always attacked when Lala goes down. She's always been right there for the whole moto. 12 minutes goes by really fast. And so when Lala fell, when it was 1 lap to go, there was no chance for Lala to turn around and get her. And Charlie capitalized on that, and it kind of just worked in her favor to get the overall. So I wouldn't be surprised if, Lala does get better starts in the next couple rounds. But if she can keep it on 2 wheels, that's I don't know. I think that's just going to be the question till the end of the series.
You mentioned kind of capitalizing on mistakes and being close enough to do that. Obviously, we see it all the time in the men's class where that's pretty. It comes down to such detail now. It's like you have to be so perfect now because competition is so stacked. I think we see the same not only just in the top 2, to be honest, because we're kind of covering Lala and Charlie so much because those are your superstars right now in 1 and 2, and there's a 9-point gap still between them. But if you pull back a little bit, obviously Jordan, Michaela, Taylor being 1 point off, that's going to be pretty impressive too. But honestly, what I've seen the last 3 rounds, and where the results have kind of shown, is our girl Emma Miselvik with 83 points, sitting 6th overall, and Lillian Pettis at 74 points. So Lillian is a little bit behind. She obviously had some bad luck the last couple motos, dealing with some minor injuries in Denver, and then obviously not being able to finish Moto 2 in High Point. She blew out her spokes during that second moto first corner crash, but so that kind of set her back a little bit. So obviously going into the break, not probably ideal for Lillian, but I've seen the best battles between Emma and Lillian. Both of them having to either make up for a mistake that they made. For example, Emma having a bad start in Hangtown, having to kind of fight back, only having those 12 minutes plus 1 or plus 2, whatever it ends up being, to try and make up for that mistake that she made on having a bad start, and then basically catching up to Lillian, who rode pretty consistent, throughout Hangtown and pretty good in Denver as well. If you put basically right now going into the break, you have Emma, Piper Bell, and we'll ignore Lottie for now since she only did those 2 rounds, but you have Piper Bell, Lillian Pettis, and obviously Emma in 6th overall. I mean, between those 3 girls, Piper's been pretty consistent on her results, but between Emma, Piper, and Lillian, Jackie, who do you think is going to be the first to make a mistake and kind of throw it away? Or do you think this is going to come down to the next 3 rounds? Like, do you think all the 3 of these girls that are sitting 6th, 7th, and 8th, is this going to be a fight to the death, or are we going to see some riders start to pull away a little bit and kind of find their groove?
Man, it's hard to say just because the motos are so short. It's like you said, when a person makes a mistake, there's no chance to recover from your mistake, basically. And that's what's hard about it. It's only a 6 or 7 lap moto, so if you make one mistake, it's over for you. Just like Lillian blew out her spokes, had a tip over in the first corner. Even if she didn't blow out her spokes and it wasn't a red flag, it's like that moto is basically over for you. There's no time to make it up. So anything can happen. I mean, Lillian's pretty young. I know this is her first year. I know that Emma is a 2-time champion in Australia, so I think that she's definitely got a little more under her belt as far as, you know, all of her experience. So I'm going to say that as the longevity goes, I would go with Emma. I think she's a really strong rider. I think that she's got the grit and she got the talent. But, you know, it's any girl's game. Like I said, if these girls make one mistake in the moto, you don't get to recover. So, I mean, they got to put it all out there and just do a 7-lap sprint. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I think it's going to be really juicy because it's, again, we're not talking about, you know, in years past, it's always been, first and second, maybe first, second, third, you know, in the WMX class. But now it's literally all the way through 8th, 9th, 10th. Even, I was just looking at the points too. We're even talking like a couple points difference with, you know, the 10th through 15th, you know, again, although, you know, you guys won't be racing anymore, but, you know, Ava Silvestri, Haley Johnson, Kylie Alvarez, Taylor Harold, who's coming in fresh, you know, Carrie Kilbrew, obviously Brittany, like those are all just minor points apart. I mean, so I think it's going to be super interesting in the next couple of weeks who can like capitalize and learn from maybe what they need to work on from the first 3 rounds, strength, sprints, starts, whatever it might be, minimizing mistakes, like, you know, so I think it'll be curious to see how that kind of shapes out. Last question for the group. Both of you guys honestly have just in the last 2 rounds that you guys performed in made minor mistakes. You know, Jackie obviously had crashes in Denver that, you know, you had to kind of fight through to make up for. Brittany, you had a second corner crash. Wasn't necessarily your fault, but, you know, it still happened. What does it mean to have to charge through a 12-minute +1 moto? And Jackie, we'll start with you first. What does it mean to have to charge through that? Again, make the mistake, then what? How do you turn your brain on to be like, all right, well, capitalize on the 12 minutes you have left?
It's tough. Like back in the day in 2010, 2012, whatever, we got 20-minute. We got 20-minute motos, so it's like you make a mistake, you still got the whole moto where, you know, at that 15-minute mark, girls may be falling off the pace where you can capitalize on that last 5 minutes. 12-minute moto, all girls are pretty much still going full speed at 12 minutes. You're doing 7 laps. So when I fell down, I was about mid-pack. I made it back to 26th, which is really, I ran out of time. There's just not that much. Got back up. Got back going as fast as I could, but that's about it. So yeah, I think it brings a whole nother level of adversity to the women's motocross where it's just a short sprint all out as fast as you go for 12 minutes. It's exciting, right?
Yeah. I mean, Brittany, when you went down and you were dead last in that corner, there was already like a pretty good gap too. It's not even like you had a chance. I mean, yeah, of course, if you had 20 minutes, like Jackie said, like you could probably settle in, pick off maybe 2-3 girls, but like by the time you got going, and you had it pretty successful too when I was watching, you were able to pick your bike up and it fired back up. It wasn't like back in the day where we had to like kickstart a flooded bike for 400 hours. So like you were able to get back up, you were able to get back up and like go pretty quick, but you still had a pretty big gap just because the girls are so fast today too. It's like you had to like basically do another sprint within a sprint.
Yeah, exactly. And I picked it up like I did have a Kickstarter on there. I kept my hand on that clutch the whole time. And like Jackie said, it's so short. And, you know, I think I have pretty good fitness. I feel like I might not have raw speed. So if I could capitalize on some ladies that are starting to slow down a little bit, you know, yes, that's great. But in 12 minutes, it's like such a sprint, right? So I have good intensity, so I just picked it up quick. Obviously, it sucks when you go down in the first turn because everyone just goes. You know, if you are kind of solidified yourself in 10th, 11th or so, and maybe you have a little gap between you and behind you, and you fall, and you can rebound quick. You know, you might not have 20 girls go by you all at once. So I think with experience, I've just learned to stay calm and just go. You just got to get up and go, and then limit the mistakes they make afterwards, which I did make another mistake. I actually jumped kind of off the track. And, I had to calm it down a little bit, but I knew in the back of my mind, I was like, that white flag's coming out. And, I was able to, I was pretty much last, and I think I made my way to 21st or 22nd or something, unfortunately, and then I ran out of time. But yeah, it's hard when you crash at the first turn. Everybody sees it on TV. Everybody goes by you. And, by the time I actually got going, everyone was already almost pretty much through the rollers. And my bars were tweaked a little bit, but that's motocross. You got to deal with adversity, and I should have just got a better jump off the start.
Yeah, you just have to minimize mistakes, which everybody knows is pretty hard to do because you're going to make mistakes no matter what, especially when you're like all out 12-minute sprints, like you and Jackie said. So to wrap this up, obviously we have 7 weeks off until the next WMX round, which will be at Unadilla, which will be round 4. I kept saying round 5 earlier, it's round 4. But if we had to pick between the girls who are going to Australia for this round 2 of the MXW Australian Championship, Jackie, who are you picking for the overall? And you've got Lachlan Turner, Charlie Cannon, Taylor McCutcheon, obviously our girl Emma. Between those Australians right there, we'll keep it to just that. Who's gonna, if you have to pick, what's the prediction?
Man, my heart says I would love to see Emma win. She's awesome. I love her. She's wearing our Moto Fit Club shirt. Get up there on the podium, girl. We would love that. Charlie Cannon coming in with some heat with the fresh win overall victory at High Point. So I feel like her being in her hometown, maybe she's got a little more support than Lala does. Maybe she's the favorite. Obviously, Lala's fast. We can never count her out, but yeah, straight up to Emma. Let's go. Get it, girl. Get on the podium.
That would be a sweet podium. Yes, I agree. It's hard not to cheer for all of them to get up there, but we got to pick one. Only one person goes across first. It's definitely hard not to pick Lala. I think that she has just been on this dominant streak. I think she'll take it to Australia like she did before, and I think she'll win. But I think that she's got to feel a little heat, because Charlie capitalized on a mistake, and it could easily happen again. Unfortunately, we've seen mistakes from Lala almost every moto, give or take. So I think if Charlie just gets a good start and she's just on her heels the whole time, no pun intended, or the pearls, you can't lose your pearls, because if Lala loses her pearls, Charlie's going to capitalize. And I could see, I feel like Jackie said, she could be a fan favorite. Obviously, she's back home ready to race there, and I would like to think, obviously I'm rooting for Emma. I want to see a podium from all of them, but we can't count Taylor McCutcheon out, because she might be going with a vengeance. I mean, she's kind of had a little bit of up and down. She finally got a podium in Denver, which I think was cool, and she was very sick then too. So I think that if she kind of brings that, I almost kind of see her as the underdog, because she's gotten 4th a couple times, and she's just right there at the door of another podium. So I wouldn't count her out, but I feel like Charlie might take the win.
All right, so Jackie, you're going for Emma. Brittany, you're saying Charlie. Obviously, I would vote Emma too, but if you have to look at kind of like the stats, and I like to go off stats, and like obviously my heart says Emma, but like Brittany said, you can only pick one. So I do think I'm gonna have to lock in. My final answer would be Lachlan Turner, just because you have the pearls. I think she's got French tip nails. I do think she has the blonde hair. I don't know if it's natural or not, but she's got the blonde hair. She's got the bike is dialed in. If she could just keep it on 2 wheels, like Brittany said too, and minimize the mistakes, then I do think that she might actually have a pretty good chance of, once again, kind of cleaning house, to be honest. Obviously she's got to clean up her starts, because now Charlie, Taylor, Emma, all these girls are starting to pick up on that skill too. So I'm going to say Lachlan. So I guess it's kind of a 3-way split here. So I guess we'll kind of see which ones are, who's buying each other a beer at the next round, because it could be any of those girls. Obviously, it'd be so sick to see Emma get up there on the box, because she's worked so hard, there's no doubt. And she obviously, in Denver too, was dealing with altitude sickness. She had some bike part problems where she was last minute scrambling for bike parts. Like you said, Brittany, Taylor had tonsillitis in Denver as well, so like that was crazy. And that was when she got her 3rd place. So there's no lack of talent for sure, but I guess it just depends on who's going to minimize the mistakes and who's going to, I guess it comes down to the details now. So final thoughts on episode 5 of the Moto Made podcast. Jackie, anything you want to say that we missed for High Point recap?
I mean, come on, just stay tuned. Us girls went there to the first 2 rounds. We got the inside scoop on what's going on in the WMX. We got to meet a lot of the new ladies. We've been there with a lot of the older ladies. I feel like we have a lot of good insight, so stay tuned if you want to get some good podcast. What drama? I don't know.
Insight.
Inside drama. You want to get it all? Come on. We know all the ladies. It's good. Stay tuned.
Yeah, if you want that special AARP discount, you're going to tune into the Moto Made podcast for all the juicy grandma insight from Moto.
That's
Brittany,
right.
Last final thoughts on High Point. Recap?
The series is getting tight. Like you said, we've got ties, and we've got some ladies that are a point off of each other. I think it's going to be very exciting. We got to keep the hype going even over the 7-week break. This week in Australia is going to be very tight. We literally have our front runners going out to battle it out. So I think we have exciting racing all around, and Unadilla is going to be a fun track to watch. There's some big booters out there, so we'll see who shines there. And the WMX has just been just a tidal wave of excitement, and it's exploding. So if you're not a fan of the WMX yet, I don't know what you're doing, but you gotta watch on TV and see how fast these girls are going, because even if they make it look easy, these tracks are so freaking hard. So they're throwing down lap times that are even catching up to some of the men's motos. So I think I'd speak for all of us that we're big fans. Obviously we got a couch race for the next coming rounds. It'll be fun to give our insight on it and share what we know about all the ladies that we met, especially the first 2 rounds. And so, we're old. We've got things to say.
Yeah, wow, just beautifully said, Big Brittany. We do want to say that, obviously, Mayla, we hope you get better soon. Hopefully that concussion doesn't hold you back too much and get back on the bike and start training, and any other injuries that you took place. That was a gnarly first corner crash, so hopefully you heal up well, and we are hoping to see you back out. Again, Brittany said 7 weeks will be nice. Best case scenario, I guess, if you're going to get hurt at the final round going into it. And obviously Destiny Slingerland, broken femur is going to be a little harder to rebound on. It does take a good amount of that break to at least heal, but as soon as she heals up, it'd be good to have her back on the line, because she's a fierce competitor too, along with the rest of the girls. And obviously we hope to see our girl Lillian get those spokes fixed so that we could get you back on that gate, because we got to have you on the gate. It's part of the
I
job.
hope she didn't rip her nails off. She cuts her gloves off for her nails, so her spokes went out. I hope she still got her nails intact. She might have to get them all replaced. I don't know, but I'm hoping for the best for her, because she's badass.
Yeah.
Well, she does have 7 weeks to get the nails fixed, so there's hope. Well, awesome. Big Brittany, do you want to tell us about the upcoming moto courses that we've got planned coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody listening that has ever wanted to learn to ride a dirt bike, or if you do ride but you're at a beginner level and you want to learn the basics, we have the perfect class for you. It's the Intro to Moto course that is going to be on July 4th. Come train with us in the morning, celebrate July 4th in the evening. It'll be super fun. It's at Glen Helen Raceway, 9 to 2. You can catch up on all the details, or you could read all about the details online at motofitclub.com.
Jackie, you want to tell us about the Advanced Moto course that we've got coming up as well?
Yeah, we have the Advanced Moto course. Brittany, tell me the date on the Advanced Moto course.
Oh, thanks for tossing it back to me, Jacqueline. I'll take it from here. It's on August 2nd. That is going to be also at Glen Helen Raceway. And we're going to just go over more than just the basics. We're going to dive deeper into jumping, cornering techniques, how to handle braking bumps, and line choice, just more on the track technique. So that's going to be August 2nd. Again, you can check out all the details and sign up at motofitclub.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. We'll do this again. Looking forward to the upcoming rounds. And like Brittany said, go to motofitclub.com for all the things that you want to check in on. So, Jackie, thank you. Big Brittany, thank you. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
You.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment on what you want to hear next on the Moto Made podcast. Visit motofitclub.com for upcoming training courses, fitness programs, and community events and ride days. Follow us on social media at Moto Fit Club and check out our latest videos on our new YouTube channel. A big thank you to all of our Moto Fit Club sponsors: Free Bros Racing, Sign Art Graphics, Factory Connection, Rhino Power, and of course FMF Pipes.